Well, hello, people. It's Monday, the 2nd of September. We're in September now. Excuse me, and cheers. I just got up. Coffee is good. Not Jimmy Scappa t-shirt, local ska band that's no longer around. Some members of RAF were in this band before they were in RAF. Taking time off from making the videos was fine. Did you miss me? Life goes on. Speaking of, for me, the big personal news has been the loss of another friend. So when I last spoke to you, we had lost Billy Swan of the Muffins and Urban Verbs. I had never met Billy, but he's part of the circle of friends that I am part of. And Dave Newhouse is the person that I most directly connected with, and I've played on records, Dave Newhouse's records. Well, since then, I unfortunately found out that an old bandmate and friend of mine, Dixon LeBron, passed away a few days ago. And he had a band called Atomic Breathing. He did some other things, but this album, that's Dixon on the front, Atomic Breathing. This album came out in 1989. He was an enigma. He was a good guy. He was a real artist. He, I think that best way to describe him is somewhere in between Bob Dylan and Lou Reed, where some of his words were important. He was pretty good with words, actually. The music was interesting. It wasn't typical. It's like Dixon had a unique approach to the music, probably because he didn't know that much about music and kind of came from a punk aesthetic, but it wasn't punk rock. It was, like I said, more singer-songwriter, listen to my words type of stuff. Dixon was a recluse. I'm talking about him because he was special. He really was. He stood out in the Omaha music scene. I played in Atomic Breathing on and off. And the last time I worked with Dixon was the first time that Mark Burgess of the Chameleons played in Omaha. Dixon was the opening act. I have fond memories of Dixon, and I'm sorry that we've lost. He was younger than me, and I'm sorry he's gone already. I look to see that I still have it, and I do. This is a project of his, The Four Corners of the Universe, Music for the Sculpture by Dixon LeBron. I remember when he put these out. Sealed. He gave me two. I eventually ended up selling one, but I never opened them. I still haven't opened this. This is still sealed from when he put it out. And I'm looking for a date. I don't see the dates, but he was a unique guy. He also made a recording putting music to the poetry of John Neihardt. Does that sound right? Neihardt, Nebraska poets. I have the CD somewhere. That's pretty cool. Rest in peace, Dixon. He was a good guy. Anybody that sees this who knew him will chime in and agree. Unfortunately, he was such a recluse that it sounds like a lot of folks in the music community in Omaha found out about him through me. He had been living apparently on the edge of town in his van. I don't know the details, but I just know that Dixon was a good guy. I loved him much. So this is going to be a Bandcamp Friday coming up this Friday. And I'm going to be asking for some support from you folks. I'm going to try to get you to buy some CDs, and make financial contributions to me. I've Bandcamp Friday started because of COVID, and it has been very helpful, not just to me, but to many independent musicians who use Bandcamp. So I'll be asking for some contributions this Friday. What can I show you? That trip when I got my 5 years at Low End album. No more trips to the record store since then. I have been listening to things. This is very good. Cloud Over Jupiter comes out Friday on Bandcamp Friday. I play on 2 tracks. I'm really happy to be a part of this. This is really good. Jerry's quite a good guitar player. And this is a lot of variety on it. This is really actually very good. Really enjoyed listening to it, and got lost listening to it, and to the point where I was like, is that my part? Is that what I did? And which is not the most important thing, but it's the way that Jerry weaved things together. It's like, this is very good. The coffee is very good. Some music that's been played. My Genesis 3-inch CD of Match of the Day, Pigeons, Inside and Out. 3 great songs. A nostalgia listen. 3-inch CD. Some music really is at that point now where the listening to it is nostalgic more than a present moment sort of thing. It's like it's what it calls back memory-wise. Like when I was listening to Porcupine Tree recently, it was like, oh, this has dated. Some of this has truly dated. And but others music hasn't. Like, for example, this it just been popping up in my head. Future Listening by Tawate. This came out in the 90s. He was the DJ in the band D-Light. Got to see him with D-Light, but I also got to see him with Yellow Magic Orchestra. I really like the way he puts tracks together. He really understands funk. You can tell by his videos that he aims the music at women. I don't know who made that song or made the comment, but women respond to bass. There's a certain funk and rhythm that happens that makes the body move, which is what they're talking about. And Tawate knows how to do it. Not everyone has it. Not everyone knows how to make things groove hard. This grooves hard. Really like it. It just kept popping up into my mind to play. Earlier this week, I just pulled this because I couldn't remember listening to it. Night Wings by Pat Martino, the jazz guitarist who I think had a stroke or a brain hemorrhage or something, lost everything, had to learn how to talk again, had to learn how to play the guitar again, and got his chops back, which is amazing. This is a wonderful album. There's the Requisite Blues on here, which is the one that I skip. I listen to a little bit of blues, and then it's like, it's like, okay, now I know what you're going to do. Next. In other listening, some stuff that I've gotten recently that you may have seen recently, but It's what I've been playing, so I'll show it to you. Swerve Driver, Petroleum Spirit Days. I had never bought Swerve Driver back in the day. Picked this up recently. This is from 1990. And it's kind of interesting that I didn't pay much attention to them at the time because they're just as good as those other bands that they're lumped in with, My Bloody Valentine, etc. It also didn't, I wasn't sure, but yeah, the lead guy is black. Light-skinned black person. This got played several times. The Orb, recent album, Prism. Here's another example of where they really know how to get a groove going. There's a couple of tracks on here where I had to play it several times, yellow vinyl, because I wanted to listen and understand why is this grooving so hard? Why is it that when I play this, I can't sit still? Literally, there's a couple of tracks on here where the groove is just thumping. And it's the syncopation. It's the way that the parts weave together. It's really what it is. It's the sum of the parts coming together and making a wonderful whole. Prism by the Orb. Prism Orb. This is real good. Really enjoy it. Now here's one where I just did a pull because I hadn't played it for a while. And it's just okay. Fragments. Live recordings by Agitation Free, German band from the early 70s. This was recorded in 74. It's okay. On one side, they actually devolved from a fairly free-floating jam into a real standard riff, descending riff that has been overdone. Pardon the yellowish of the color. I hate that when that happens, when I can't get a nice white balance on the camera. Anyway, that's better. So, back to a Dixon LeBron. So the person that let me know that he passed away was my friend Frank Z. And Frank took this photo of Dixon on the cover. I invited Frank to stop over on Friday to visit and talk about the passing of Dixon because we were all close. And then I asked him for more details, which I won't share because his death was sad, and I don't want to be putting his business out there. But had a good visit with Frank, catching up with him, what he's been up to, and we'll listen to some music. And it turned him on to this, and he went, "Wow!" That was his response. This is really good. I've listened to it all now. The second album is alternate takes and some instrumentals of this music. This music for the 69, it's almost jazzy. It's got samba in it, or Brazilian influences. The weakest thing about this record is the lyrics. Just real typical teenage lyrics about missing you or feeling blue and shit, But the music is kicking. Excuse me, this is real good. I haven't read into the notes far enough to see who's playing on the tracks. Real good. Been pulling records when I play them just to play things that I haven't listened to in a long time. And here's one, Lucio Battisti, Italian pop star, Amore e non amore. This is a reissue of the album. He started the label Numero Uno, I believe. I think he's made so much money. This is a pop album. It's not prog, but he's got the members of PFM, Premiata Forneria Marconi, are in his backing band on this album. This is quite good. The two throwaways on here are the things that are kind of like the things that people do as a well, I got to do this, for popularity. So there's a rock and roll song on here, literally. The rock and roll changes, da 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 da. Then there's a blues on here. Those are the two least interesting things on the album, but they're put on for populist appeal. But the rest of the album is interesting, and the backing band, they really cut loose on some things. They really jam it up. This is good. I have a couple of more of his albums, but I hadn't played this in a while. I really like this. I don't speak Italian. Again, when the music, that was one thing that Frank and I talked about, because our tastes are very different for the most part. We come together on things like Yellow Magic Orchestra, Julian Cope, but then there's other stuff, like he likes the blues, like everybody does. He really likes Khruangbin. He and his wife actually traveled to see Khruangbin. They're all right to me, but it's like, I wouldn't buy Khruangbin. I see why people like them. They don't have enough of what I like. But we were talking about music, and he's a Dylan type of person, okay? He listens to the words. I listen to the whole picture first. We were talking about the new The. Matt Johnson of The has a new record coming out, or I think it has come out. I've watched the 2 videos. I like his stuff. His Burning Blue Soul, his first solo album on 4AD, I think is exceptional. Sound-wise, his use of music has been really strong. But this latest stuff, the focus is on the words more than the music, and it's just okay to me. Here's something I picked up while on tour with Sun Ambulance. The band is called AU, or it's a project. The name of the album is Verbs. Up in Portland, the opening band for our show on that particular tour was a band called A-Weather. And one of the women in the band, Sarah, I think is her name, was also in this. And I really like those guys. I love that about touring, meeting people and vibing up with people. So I really enjoyed their company and their set. So I bought everything that they had. An A-Weather single. And I bought 2 copies of this. I've sold one. They had 2 different colors, and I bought both. I was so impressed. Verbs. Listen to this for the first time in years since getting it from the band. This is really good. There's an organicness to it. Arcade Fire comes to mind. There's kind of almost like a choir sort of thing where people are singing in unison and almost like a chant that they're raising. And then it'll go into kind of a jazzy thing. It never rocks out, and it never goes into real straight songs. This is cool. It's real organic, kind of jazzy. I like that cover too. Verbs. 2008. It's about when I was on tour with Sun Ambulance. I hadn't listened to this since I bought it. Played this all the way through. This is something unique. And this is a journey. What she is saying, she is referencing ancient wisdom and other literary things as she goes through this music. This is really just what I like. Hard to describe, but it's deep listening, not straight songs, very atmospheric, really good. Diana Rogerson, A Bad Diana. The lights are on, but no one's home. This is real good. Art. And I got this record from the artist recently. I have to look to say his name again. I think it's Kevin. Yes, Kevin Revis. Solicitudo. Really enjoyed this. If you happen to see this, Kevin, played this all the way through the other day while smoking. Okay, like a lot of people, I enjoy a good smoke, but this, I it, I just melted into it. And there, one side, as it gets towards the end, this melody, this melodic thing emerges from the samples and the bits of sound that are woven together on this. This is good, and there's only 100 copies of this. Thank you for sending that to me, Kevin. Along the same lines, I showed you that this is one of the records I bought last week at Grapefruit. Claudio Rocci, Suoni di Frontiera. An experimental album he made in the 70s. This is very good. It's like melodic fragments with soundscapes. And this is wonderful. That cover really does it justice. It's not the original graphics for it. Claudio Rocci. Really good. And along those lines, this had been popping up in my mind to play. Another Italian band. This is exceptional. Except for where they play the blues. Again, it's like it was like a proving ground. I got to show you I can really play, so I play the blues. Bombi Fossati, I think is his name. Gleeman is the band. I love that cover. They became Garibaldi. Love this cover. It's so goofy. Isn't that cool? Gleeman, 1970. I think the guy's name was Bombi Fossati. I'm looking for it here. Yes, guitarist. Some of the hype around him in Italy was the Italian Jimi Hendrix. That's not the case, but he plays with a lot of passion, and he's good. But this is memorable. There's several tracks on here that, in my mind, are like hits. I hear them like I could hear them on the radio. Really good. Oh, this is also on yellow vinyl. I wouldn't mind getting this on black vinyl. Or rather, I'd really love to have an original of this. But this is real good. Gleeman. Bombi Fossati. That's what I have, I think, all. Played this again, the Super Furry Animals, which led me to the Bonnie and Wendy. This is a great pop record. And I've listened to this several times. Kind of like the Cloud Over Jupiter. I really have given these two things a critical listen because I'm on them. And it's like, what is this? What is this? Is this stuff any good, really? And it is. This is wonderful. Low end, 5 years. The programming on this, the way things move from one thing to the next. I'm really proud to be on this. Every side is very interesting. I love how by the time you get to side 3, it starts with Eviction's piece, which strikes me as an excerpt, where it's probably a longer piece, which I wouldn't mind hearing. But the way that it fades out into my piece, Stub, and then More Mother, who will be here Saturday. She plays here Saturday. I absolutely intend to go to the show. That's the when this goes on sale publicly. It will go on sale publicly at her show at Low End. Looking forward to meeting More Mother. Her track is powerful. And that's a beautiful. I'm showing it again. I'm really, really proud of this. I love being able to do a needle drop on my own music. It is a thrill to this day. So that's what I have to share, people. That's what I have to share. How have you all been? Let me know.